EIIs, the monks, the fucking silent monks, the goody two shoes, the people who believe that violence actually doesn't solve the issues. The fuck? Why would anyone think that? But let's get right into it, boys. So first start with the basics. Obviously, it's an FI base type. Okay, what it means. They're not gonna be as dramatic and as overtly expressive as an II. So for those people who are wondering if you're an II or an EII, ask yourself if you're in a fucking overdramatic snowflake. Then that's how you get your answer. FI base is withdrawn with their emotions. They don't really focus on expressing them, especially FI base. So they can be very stoic in comparison to IIs, not as expressive. They can be very pleasant, very kind, very empathic, but not as emotionally expressive outwardly, while having a lot of feelings inside. So those are the kind of people, if they have a problem with you, they'll just walk away. They won't even say shit. They just walk away. So let's start. So they're very focused on their bonds with individuals. Okay? Very focused on how they relate to people, how they feel about people. If people have good intentions or they have bad intentions. How close are they? They feel very bonded to their friends, to their personal relations. They have very strong likes or dislikes in people. So um, maybe appropriate or inappropriate behavior can definitely turn them off strongly, while maybe some other non-FI valuing type it wouldn't matter to them. So they are very, in a sense, they can be quite judgmental in that way, and they won't express it to you. They won't be like a stuck-up cunt into your face, but they can still make judgments about you and think, yeah, they just can have that kind of, since they're also aristocratic, they can have that almost like I'm a moral snowflake high ground, you know. But again, they're my conflictor, so maybe I'm just talking shit. Excuse me, EIIs. But maybe it's not true. So who knows? But yeah, focus on the psychological distance between people. Very focused on people. That's the main thing. They are archetype as an archetype. They're in a BTI and INFj. So they're quite organized, quite structured, like quite rigid in a sense with their beliefs and stuff. So then we have NI demo. NI demo. They're very good in being able to, since INFJ and MBTI, they're very good in predicting patterns into the future, seeing how events can develop further. Okay, so they can be quite good at planning. They can be quite good at being aware of the underlying meaning of things, of situations, and people. So all of that's going to be very present with an EII. They simply don't value it. So they're great at it, but they value their personal relations, and that they filter the world through FI, not NI. NI is just in the back doing its fucking magic. Then we're gonna have NE, creative, which is which is interesting because if they're quite open. Everything that they do, everything an EII does, all of the elements are really focused on people. It's a FI base, so all of it is really concentrated on people. Even NE, it's looking how to solve problems, interpersonal problems with people, different sides to it, being open to different possibilities, knowing how to spot patterns between concepts, between people's feelings, and all of that is that plays into it. So it's very still any basically works for FI. Same principle as I was saying, as an FI works for SE for an SEE. So the same principle here, the any works for the FI. So that's how it works basically, just for the FI. It's all for that. Different people maybe having discourse, maybe they're having arguments, different sides. Being able to see different sides, being able to navigate those sides rather than sticking to one and just being close-minded, narrow vision, makes them very good at being mediators. Combine that with NI demo, they can be great with people. They can understand people very well because not only they have the FI, they have the NE, plus they have the NI turbocharged. So it's there can be very good with people. Then we have role TI again. role is a function that we kind of suck at. So they obviously not that good at systematically using cold logic, and they don't really prefer to do so anyway because they believe people are more than just categories and code logic. So they have they have more personal uh, um, kind of feel to them. Then we're gonna have SE polar, and SE polar. When I describe them as monks who are genuinely pacifists, who think violence never solves anything, that's exactly what I mean. They're SE polar. They're people who are very passive, like incredibly passive, um, very conflict avoidant. They don't use force. They do not like when people show force. It turns them off. Don't do it near them. They get turned off. Applying any pressure to them, trying to push them to do something, you're not gonna get a good reaction. They'll double down. They will be stubborn. So they're also not that aware of their surrounding because they can be so detached. So not very present, not as engaging in the physical world. Again, passive, non-forceful individual. They believe things can be solved with kindness, and they're honestly pure-hearted. Like those people genuinely have good hearts. Like one type I can think of that actually has a good heart. Like genuinely, like they can do no wrong. They're saints, basically fucking saints. I don't think you can have a villain who's an EII. I don't. Like it's that bad. It's that hard to do. So funnily enough, probably because they're FI based and SE polar. SE is a cursed element. It can be cursed. So they almost look down on SE. They view SE as this barbaric and almost this like barbaric and primitive way of relating to the world. They don't understand that the world was built on SE. SE is throughout the history. SE is there. They just believe SE has led to negative things. They don't oftentimes realize that SE can have a good impact. Ah, I'm the fucking burp from drinking water. Fuck drinking fizzy water. It's bullshit. Okay. TE. So their TE is suggestive. Okay. Their TE is suggestive. What it means, they need a daddy, basically. A daddy. Because they're infantile, as a Roman style. Okay? So they need a daddy. And when I say daddy, I don't just fucking mean someone who's gonna touch them at night. I mean a caretaker, in a sense. Someone who's gonna be the pragmatic one. Someone who's gonna be the logical one. LSEs. Someone who's gonna be very grounded, who's gonna guide them, who's gonna help them to deal with all the practical nuances and all the shit that they need to deal with while they can focus on people. That is basically what it is. So they masturbate to TE. Okay? So it's a seeking element. They seek that shit. They want someone who can deal with practical stuff, someone who's efficient, someone who's pragmatic, someone who can actually deal with real life matters, not some floating person. So that's TE suggestive. Then, let's see, we're gonna have um, mobilizing SI. Mobilizing SI. We all know mobilizing elements are fucking try hard and they can be very bold, meaning it can be in your face sometimes. So I don't know too much about EII's SI other than it just they can be quite aware of their comfort. They can be quite aware of how they feel about things, how things make them feel, their environment around them, and the impact it has on them. So that's all I fucking know. Not my fucking best element. I really don't know too much about SI in lower stack. I should actually do about next video about like SLIs or something. I like SLIs. INFj. Then we have ignoring FE, which is going to be the last element that we're going to be talking about. And as I said, not expressive people emotionally, not very dramatic, not very robust. It's not gonna be like an IEI. Okay, so they can seem more mature and less dramatic outwardly, have a lot of emotions inside, keep them to themselves, move on. Don't start drama. Don't engage in petty drama. Don't engage in fights. They're the avoidant people who are very passive. Just avoid, and that's kind of how it is. They ignore FE. They don't really want much to do with it. So that's an EII profile. Now I'm not a fucking expert on EIIs, so hopefully you EIIs actually understand. If maybe, hopefully I was correct in what I just said. I'm not retarded, so I'm assuming most of it is correct. But yeah, it's my conflicting type. They're not. I used to kind of, I don't know. I feel like because conflictors often we just ignore each other. Like we just ignore each other. It's like it's not that deep. Like whatever. Like we're different. We ignore each other. As long as they don't give me the like that the judgmental stick up their ass vibe that I don't get it from them, I'm chill with them. But obviously, if I see that they're fucking being kind of judgmental and bitchy, not even outwardly, but they have the moral high ground, it can be a bit of an issue for me then. But overall, great people. They have good hearts and they have very good intentions, oftentimes pure intentions. So there you go, EIIs. Hopefully, it didn't fuck it up for you. Cheers.